So this is a story all about how my life got twisted upside down. I'm just kidding, well, kind of. This is a story about how I dove into a new no-code app building platform called Bolt.New. And when I say dove in, I mean dove in, like head first. Over the past few months, I've gone from automating our real estate investing business using tools like make.com and Zapier and things like that. And I went from that to completely getting swept away with the no-code app building revolution. I'd planned on releasing daily updates and videos documenting this whole journey, but to be honest with you, between building the apps and troubleshooting and raising my son, there was no way. And honestly, as well, it was just putting too much stress on me, so I decided to wait until it was over and tell you what I learned. So here we are. So it all started with Repl.it actually. That's what really pulled me in. When Repl.it agents were dropped, I was completely fascinated. I was completely hooked, to be honest with you. So I started using it to rebuild our profit evaluator spreadsheet, but as an app. And then I found myself getting completely addicted to the idea of building apps. It gave me the feeling of creation and possibility that I had never really experienced before. And then bam, that's when I stumbled across Bolt.New. I found Bolt basically the first week that they came out, and I was already really deep into the no-code rabbit hole, like binge watching YouTube videos about app building, SaaS development, and just trying to soak up as much as I could. And Bolt was like an evolution of what I was already playing around with in Repl.it, but it felt a little more streamlined and more polished. And after running into a really difficult error in Repl.it, I decided to go ahead and give Bolt a shot, and honestly, I never looked back. At first, my focus was pretty straightforward. I was working on automating things for our real estate investing business. You know, like creating workflows, simplifying repetitive tasks, just trying to save time and make our process smoother. But then something shifted. The more I got into these tools, the more I realized it wasn't just interesting to solve our own problems. I wanted to create tools that could help other people as well. So I started thinking about SaaS and micro-SaaS, and what if I could build software that wasn't just for us, but for other businesses as well? What if I could create something bigger, something that made a real impact? And it was a mindset shift that pushed me further into Bolt.New. And then during all this, I started kind of reflecting on some challenges in my own life. And not just business challenges, but like personal ones. That's when I started really thinking about my mom. So might sound like it's out of left field, but my mom has an incredible story and she tells incredible stories. She's got all these memories and experiences that she wants to pass on to the next generations, but as she gets older, it's a little difficult for her to. So I started just brainstorming, and the thing about it is, with this new revelation in my life, I started looking at things like, oh wait, I can figure that out, or I can build something for that. And that's just really where everything started. So I started thinking, what if I could actually create something that could help her tell her story and preserve her memories, and maybe even connect the dots of her life and maybe other people's lives as well. And that's when I kind of had this little aha moment. And I wanted to build something bigger, not just another business tool, but I wanted to create something a little more meaningful. So with all these new thoughts and new kind of trajectory, I started thinking, how do I learn? How do I learn best? And that's by completely immersing myself into something. So I decided right before Christmas, and to be exact, it was 42 days before Christmas, I decided to build an app in 40 days. And not just any app. This app was going to be for my mom. And that might sound kind of strange, but I designed it around her as the user, thinking about her specific challenges with storytelling and memory sharing. So why 40 days? Well, I wanted a deadline. I wanted something to really push me, to force me to stay focused and make real progress. The idea was to have an MVP, minimum viable product, ready to go by December 23rd. That gave me just over a month to figure it all out. And honestly, it felt like an insane challenge, but I was actually pretty excited. So at this time, I was completely addicted to Bolt. The tool was incredible. It gave me the ability to create something meaningful, something I didn't even think was even possible just a few weeks before. It was like I had kind of unlocked a new level of creativity. Before Bolt, I had built a few things on Repl.it. The profit evaluator that I started off as a spreadsheet with our company, and I built it back out as an app in Repl.it, and it worked, but it was pretty clunky. And when I moved it over to Bolt, it became a lot more smooth. The process altogether was smoother, the design was cleaner, and suddenly I realized I could do way more with these tools than I had previously thought just a few weeks ago. The profit evaluator became my starting point. It was the thing that showed me what Bolt could do. But even then, I didn't even realize the full potential. A lot of people at the time were building these quick 5-minute apps in Bolt. You know, simple tools that were cool, but not exactly groundbreaking. And I didn't want to stay in that lane. I wanted to kind of push the limits. And this wasn't because I was that ambitious. It was because I was really ignorant. I didn't know that some of these tools were kind of seen as front-end tools or UI development. I was just like, all right, this thing can code and I can build anything in the world. So at that point, ignorance was bliss and I was going for the moon. So here's the funny part. I didn't even really know that there were supposed to be kind of limits with Bolt, these kind of implied limits. And I was thinking, I can build pretty much anything. This opened the world saying, whatever's in my imagination, I can build it because this tool is here now. And that belief, that ignorance honestly became my superpower. I wasn't afraid to experiment, to try things, to make mistakes. I didn't box myself in by thinking that this wasn't possible. So when I started working with this new app, I went in with a kind of huge vision. I wasn't just trying to make a simple app. I wanted to build something real, something that actually mattered, something with a front end, something with the back end, something that was seamless. And yes, the process was messy. It was chaotic. It was kind of like a beautiful disaster, but that's honestly how I learned. So after I got the app started, and the next 40 days were a blur of just kind of mistakes and breakthroughs and lessons. And I'm not gonna walk you through every single misstep because trust me, there was a lot and it was just me rambling and cursing and a lot of different things that happened. But what I am gonna do is share the key of the things that I've learned. And one of the major things that I learned was not just the little things of how to put certain pages together or different files. It was about the process. It was about how to use it as a tool and how to use other tools in my arsenal in order to be this sort of no-code dev team. And it was actually an amazing experience. So this isn't just about building an app, it's about learning a workflow. Bolt.New is a powerful tool, but it's not magic, kind of. It's not a build anything you can imagine in 5 minutes kind of tool, but when you combine it with other tools, when you think of it as a part of a larger workflow, it becomes a game changer. So in the coming videos, I'll break down the highs, the lows, and the lessons that I learned along the way. I'll share with you how I approached the project, what worked, what didn't work, maybe some mini tutorials throughout there about different things that I learned how to do that might be helpful to you. I'll try to show you how you can use these insights to build your own app or tackle your own crazy challenge. So get ready because this is going to be fun in its own way. Honestly, it might be kind of rambly at times. Some of it might not make sense, but I wanted to share the journey with you so that you can do the same thing and see the possibilities of what someone with no coding experience can actually build out. And we're not even there yet. We're at a certain point with this app and we're still building it day by day. So there's so much more to learn and the tools are just gonna keep getting better and better. So like, subscribe, do all those things, and hopefully I'll be able to take you through this whole process, and not just for the next few weeks about the 40-day challenge, but over time, and just see which direction this and other AI tools go. So thanks for tuning in. Catch you pretty soon.